Welcome to Nurses with Voices, the podcast where we amplify the voices of nurses everywhere. I'm your host, Dr. Lindra James, DNP RN, and I am thrilled to go on this podcast journey with you. As a nurse with over 20-something years of experience, I've witnessed the dedication, resilience, and passion that defines our profession. Through this podcast, we aim to educate, empower, and inspire nurses at every stage of their careers. Whether you're a novice nurse navigating the challenges of bedside care, an experienced clinician looking to advance in your field, or dreaming of becoming a nurse entrepreneur, Nurses with Voices is here for you. Join me as we delve into topics such as advancing in nursing, mastering leadership skills, and fostering a supportive community within our profession. Together, we'll explore the triumphs, struggles, and countless opportunities that come with being a nurse. So tune in, subscribe, and let your voice be heard, because here at Nurses with Voices, every nurse has a story worth sharing, and every nurse voice deserves to be amplified. Welcome back to another episode of Nurses with Voices. I'm your host, Dr. Lindra James, DNP RN, and today I have Dr. Pamela Minyard here. So you guys know that I am, one of the reasons why we put together this podcast, Nurses with Voices, is to give nurses a voice, and to not only give nurses a voice, but also to recognize the other avenues that there are with nursing and the beauty of what we bring, right, to the communities. And when I say the community, and it's not just, it's thinking outside of that traditional setting of nursing. So I have Dr. Minyard here today, and I'm actually very intrigued. When we had our conversation about what she does with her business and her background, and, I'm very intrigued to talk about what she does today. So without further ado, I'm going to let her go ahead and introduce herself and, tell the audience and the listeners a little bit about your journey of being a CRNA to being an entrepreneur and what your business does.
Yes.
So welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Lindra, and good morning to you and your wonderful listening audience. I'm so excited to be here with you all today. Well, what a journey I've been on. I am a CRNA by profession, and I have an extensive critical care background as well. I always had a passion, though, to have my own, to serve the community, to find out the needs of the community, and figure out what I can do in that forum. So, as it may be, that's what I'm doing. I had an injury at work, unfortunately. I'm going to be very transparent with the audience today. And prior to that, Dr. Lindra, I was in an MBA program, and I said, this is my moment in my 36th year in healthcare. I've been in healthcare for over 36 years. And I said, I've got to make this happen. I'm going to, spiral into my business and just kind of bridge over into what I want to do. And I worked in a very traumatic hospital setting where the needs were great. And I learned, I immersed myself in that environment because I wanted to learn where the needs are, where I could serve best. And what I found to be the thing necessary to do was prevention. And so I decided to do a preventative program. And so that's what my business is focused on, preventative care. I realized that this is the necessary link, it's the missing link in healthcare today. And this is where we as nurses, because we are the largest healthcare industry in the country, it's over 4.5 million of us, we are on the front lines. We're the ones who are immersed in what the nursing process. We do assessment, diagnosis, outcomes, identification, planning, implementation, and evaluation. We are the it factor, okay? We just have to understand that and make people believe that we are valuable.
And own it.
and
And
own
own
it
it.
and own
Yep.
it. So
And own
that's
our
what
power.
I'm doing.
Hmm.
Exactly. So the name of my business is the Blue Bridge Agenda, and it focuses on helping people obtain their health goals. Okay. So and why I say that specifically, I am working with preventative care because I am trying to help people to not get into the system. And what I call the system is the hospital. Once you get into the hospital, it's hard to get out of that situation. You're a repeat person going patient in and out of the hospital from one diagnosis to another. And what I would like to do, and for all of us as nurses, because we're so qualified, is to reach people before it gets to that severity. That is what we call preventative care. So, my business, the Blue Bridge Agenda, uses an alternative therapy to help people obtain their health goals. I use music therapy. Yes,
Yes.
that is my niche. I
And
use,
when
yes,
and when you said that, I was like, music therapy.
music
So talk
therapy.
a little bit about that. Talk about
Yes.
how that works, that whole process of music
Yes.
therapy
So
works.
when I was obtaining my doing my dissertation, I decided to use music therapy to see whether or not it would help people with their perception of pain and anxiety after surgery. And it was wonderful. I had the obese population that I work with because obviously the people who are most likely people who are obese have sleep apnea. And when if you pop a little bit of narcotic and anesthesia in the picture, you have a bad situation. So yeah, so what I decided to do was use music therapy, and guess what? It worked.
Tell
It worked.
me.
It worked.
Okay. So
So
like
my
walk
patients
through the go
it
ahead.
was
Yeah.
it was a 3-month study, and my patients who had the music therapy had a decreased amount of usage using narcotics and anti-anxiety medications. And so what I decided to do was take it a step further. And here I am. I said, well, hey, if it works in the inside in a hospital, it can work on the outside. And
Yeah.
so here I am. That's what I'm doing. I use evidence-based music. I work with the music therapist. I work with artists who provide me the music. And this music is evidence based to decrease anxiety and depression. And so my clientele I love working with nurses. We're the caregivers. Okay. Without us, there's nothing else. We must take care of ourselves. And so I have quite a bit of nurses. And, just trying to, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be sick. It could be you just want to improve upon your wellness. But I do have people who want who express interest in losing weight. I have people with smoking cessation, anxiety, and depression. And now I am actually working with nurse leaders to take it to the hospital to work with their team. Okay, because we want to have an environment of cohesiveness and not toxicity, because we all know toxic environments. So
Yes.
that's what I'm doing now. I'm branching out, and I'm in doctor's offices working with clients there as well. With the people who have cancer. Yeah. And it's doing quite well.
So walk me through why I would reach out to you.
Yeah.
So why would I reach out to you? And then once I do reach out to you, walk me through what
Yeah.
the process would look like.
Yeah. So I work with my clients one to one. Okay, so interestingly, I am not working as a CRNA, of course. I am not working as a critical care nurse, of course. However, the extensive background that I have helps me to be able to do the nursing process with each and every client. I set up a plan, and the plan is instituted over an 8-week period. Okay. And I have an individualized plan for each and every client. And of course, it's all confidential. I'm not serving as a psychologist as well, Dr. Lindra. Okay. I just want to make that clear.
Right.
However, I am able to decipher exactly the needs that this person needs in order to accomplish their health goals. And so it's a one-to-one coaching forum, okay, that I do with them. And I do it most likely on most of the time online on Zoom. And basically, I provide the music and I provide the plan, and I provide accountability. Okay, that is what the difference is with me versus everybody else, every other program. My program makes people accountable.
Are there other music therapy programs out there?
Actually, there are music therapists, but they're
Okay.
not doing what I'm doing. Okay. They do music therapy, but they're not a nurse who knows how to provide the entire nursing process. They don't have the background that I have because I know how to keep people from being sick. I know
Why?
what it takes to make people be well.
Right. Absolutely. That's what we do. Why
Yeah.
don't more people know about this?
Because we are traditionalists. That's an excellent question. Thank you so much, Dr. Lindra, for asking that. We are traditionalists. I mean, let's face it. Myself, I've been in healthcare for over 36 years, 17 years in critical care, and then the remainder in anesthesia, doing traditional medicine. Okay, but I have to tell you, if you look at the statistics, the obesity rates and non-communicable diseases are off the scale. We're failing. Traditional medicine is failing. Okay. We need to find another avenue quickly. And that's where alternative therapies come into play. That is why alternative therapy must have a forum in healthcare.
I agree. I
Okay.
completely agree.
Yes.
Because what's happening is Medicare and Medicaid, the CMS, the Center
Yes.
for Medicaid and Medicaid Services, they're really taking over or they've
Yes.
taken over, right,
Yes.
our hospital settings,
Yes.
and it's driving. So patient
Cost.
care has become more about payment, right?
Exactly.
It's a business, and maybe hospitals maybe has always been a business, but
It
it's
is.
it's it's really on the surface level now. Like you can tell that it's a business,
Right.
which is leading to
Yeah.
nurses being so overworked and
Yeah.
so overwhelmed. And to your point, I think it's a great idea to go
Yeah.
into the hospital settings and speak with nurse leaders and organizations so
Mhm.
that they can bring something back to their clinicians who are on the front line so that they can feel supported, so that they can
Exactly.
get back to being engaged because they know there's some type of mindfulness exercise, or my organization has invested in something that's going to be beneficial to me, and
Exactly.
not just me coming in, or you're calling me
Exactly.
every day to come and work overtime and burning me out and having me work short staff. So I
Mhm.
think this is absolutely amazing. Can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit about like what it would look like for your program going into a hospital setting and speaking with the nurse leaders or the executive
Yes,
boardrooms?
yes, absolutely. So I've actually have I like to do everything in the like sort of like the nursing process. I love diagrams and having that familiarity with nurses. Certain type of leadership that I enjoy because it includes working with the entire team and getting them involved with what is going to be useful and helpful in order for them to obtain good outcomes, not only
Right,
for themselves, but also for the patient. Okay.
right.
Because what we have to understand is that if we're not taking care of ourselves, it leaves things open for bad outcomes for our patients.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes. And
It,
so, yeah, so I want to bring that across to the nursing leaders that bringing in a program, instituting a program that talks about alternative measures. See, this is something, it's almost like we've been hypnotized in a way. Okay. And I don't mean that to be figurative, literally. Okay. I mean, what we are used to is what we're used to. Okay. And so, what we should try to do is open our minds up to a different way of looking at things and processing information for the betterment of all. Okay. And what I mean by that is opening our minds to alternative measures in terms of how we can be better able to function. Okay.
You mean
So
function as healthcare
as
professionals?
as healthcare professionals, as human beings. Let's start
Hmm.
there. Okay, because before we are or wherever a healthcare professional, we are ourselves, a human being. So we need to be true to ourselves and take care of ourselves first. Okay. Take care of ourselves first. And by doing that, we need to understand that sometimes, and I don't want to speak negatively of traditional medicine because it does have a place.
Right. I don't think it's not, you know what? It's not speaking negatively. It's speaking your truth.
Yes,
Right.
yes, yes,
So,
exactly.
it is, what's to say? It is what it is.
Yes,
Right. Like
yes,
these things are happening. There's trends in healthcare that's going on right now. Nurses are, feeling overworked and overwhelmed now more than ever. They're exiting the bedside at a
yes,
rapid rate.
yes,
And, the organizations really have to hold up the mirror and ask themselves why.
yes,
Right? Why do we have such poor retention? What
yes.
is going on with our attrition that nurses are looking for other avenues, right?
That's
Nurses are
true.
looking for other sources of income. Nurses are
Yes.
looking to leave the bedside. Why
Mhm.
is that happening?
Yes.
So if we can infuse some type of, like I said, mindfulness or some type
Mhm.
of, give them a motivation to not only take care of themselves, like
Mhm.
you said, but
Mhm.
also be more, inept to take care of patients because
Yes.
patients are becoming, more demanding as well.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
sicker,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, they're sicker than they used to be.
Yes.
And then we have everything is electronic now.
Mhm.
And, there's so much documentation. Or did you document this? And nurses are, they're so worried that they don't document something,
That's it.
because they don't want to get that call at 10 o'clock in the morning when they're
True.
sleeping, right? Because there's something
True.
that they didn't chart
That's
or,
true.
so it has a huge domino effect.
It
So,
does.
so
It
it's not, you're speaking facts for sure.
Yes,
For sure.
absolutely. Absolutely, and Lendra. And the point too is that, we have to like I said, understand that our nurses, unfortunately, are not healthy. A lot of our nurses. I know I work, I know I see it. Okay. I work with it, I see it myself included. Okay, I've had health challenges with weight. I'm being very transparent, weight, and had to understand that I have to take care of myself. I have
Right.
to take care of myself, and I want people to be healthy. Okay, just because you look like you've been, just because you work hard doesn't mean you have to feel and look as though you work hard.
Right, right,
And
right.
look.
What's the saying? I don't have to look like what I've been through, right?
Yes, exactly, exactly, exactly. So, and then that's what causes burnout. Causes burnout. It causes illness. And you want to retire and have a good life. You don't want to be tired and then be on death's door. Okay,
Right. Right. And
or
that's what happens,
that's
right?
what happens.
And that's and I'm talking like in a lot of industries, not just
Oh,
healthcare, but
absolutely.
in a lot of
Oh,
industries, like
absolutely.
people, yeah.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
you mentioned something about your own weight challenges, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
what's some practices that you
Oh,
utilize and some
yes.
techniques?
Oh, I do my
Um,
own program.
well, okay.
Oh,
Well,
yes. Oh, yes. I journal. I listen to my music. I am much more aware of what and why and what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And so I follow my program.
and
I
you've
follow,
lost weight following
oh
your own
yes,
program?
I
That's
absolutely. I've
that's
lost weight and
awesome.
I'm just much more centered. And it's helped me actually with my business.
Okay.
Because, I can tell you when you work with my program, it's not just working on just one avenue. You start to look at everything. Like I have
Right.
a client who started out using weight as her motivation, and then she started to take more. She's a nurse, get a certification. Then she started to declutter. Then she started to think about bad relationships, and I'm like, okay. I mean, it's sort of that was her domino effect. It just opened up a whole beautiful world for her. That listen, I can do this. I am much more centered now. I am more focused, and that's what my program does.
So she came to you because she wanted to lose weight. So she came
Correct.
to you for a alternative approach to losing
Yes.
weight, and you
Yes.
guys worked together. And
Yes.
how long did you work together?
For 3 months.
Okay, so you worked
Yes.
together for 3 months, and she
Yes.
was able to. And what were her results? What did she reach? What did she
W
achieve?
Well, she's still working on it, of course, because I cannot promise. Oh, well, her goal is to lose 50 pounds.
Okay.
So she lost about 20 in the process of she and I working together. And so she's
Three
just moving
months.
along her process and she's doing great. And I'm just so proud of her. I'm very, very proud of her. She's my poster child because not only, and I tell you why, because she has been able to use the program to benefit her in other areas besides just weight loss.
And that's what it's about,
And that's what it's
right?
about. Yes.
And that's what it's about,
Yes.
because a lot of times, when we look at the 5 why
Yes.
approach,
Mhm,
right? So
mhm.
I want to lose weight.
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Right? Well, I
Yes.
want to lose weight because I want to fit into my clothes.
Yes.
Why? Why
Yes.
aren't why aren't you fitting into your clothes now?
Yes.
Well, I'm
Mhm,
not fitting into my clothes because I'm not eating right. Well, why
mhm.
aren't you eating right?
Yeah,
Right? Like when you start to break it down, and that's how you really get to the root of
exactly.
what the problem is. And when you talk about having a wellness program, or
Mhm.
and it really is about mindset.
It
Like
is.
it's about mindset.
It is.
So like in contrast, and not even in contrast, in similarity, I should say, one of the things that we do with my wellness business
Mm,
is when we look at weight loss,
mhm.
right?
Yes.
It's a journey,
Yes.
right? It's a journey. And it
Yes.
is, when you look at calorie tracking, when you look
Yes.
at, it's not, you don't, I always tell people, don't think you're going to lose 60 pounds in a month,
No.
right? Like
No.
that is not the goal, because guess what? You're
Exactly.
going to put it right back on.
Exactly.
So when it's
Exactly.
a nice, slow gauged approach, right?
Yes.
When it's a strategic approach, I should
Exactly.
say, that's when you get the results. And then when you start to see, and if your clients are seeing results in different areas of their
Yes.
life, you're
Yes.
offering them a great program. So that's when you
Absolutely.
talk about holistic, right?
Yes.
So we use that term
Yes.
holistic, holistic, but
Yes.
when you're touching different areas of your life and you're truly making changes, that's
Mhm.
holistic, right? Am I
Exactly.
right? Like that's holistic
Absolutely.
care. So that's
Absolutely.
absolutely amazing. So what
Thank you.
what would you say is your mission with
Yes.
like what is your ultimate mission and
Yeah.
vision
Yeah.
for
So
your business?
so my vision is to serve actually. Lendra, I want to make a change. I want to create a forum in healthcare. I want to create a bang.
Mhm.
I want people to be just saying all in awe of the fact that I have an alternative program that is actually successful and is working. And you know what? More importantly, it's sustainable. It's sustainable. Okay. My alternative program is something that you can do for the rest of your life. There is no downside to it. There are no side effects to it. You don't have to worry about medications, drugs, any of those things. Surgery, you don't have to do any, if there is no offsite, if there's nothing bad that comes along with my program. It is something that you can do for the rest of your life. And that's the goal, is to have something that is sustainable and healthy.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And that is
Healthy.
my mission. I want the healthcare industry to make room. That is my goal. Make room for alternative therapies.
And that's exactly what you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your study
Yes.
when you were in your
Yes.
doctoral program. So
Yes.
what were the results from your study?
Yeah, so actually, statistics wise, my page, I'm just going to just say it in lay terms. I did have a control group, an experimental group, and the bottom line is that the people who had the music therapy required less medication for narcotics and less anti-anxiety medication. I work with a team of people. I could not do this all by myself, Linda. I had the PACU nurses were phenomenal. I even had people in the secretaries who would call me when I was in the operating room to let me know my patient was in the pre-op area, so I can get signatures to have consents to do the program. So it was an all-out process with this. And the PACU nurses were phenomenal because they were the ones who actually collected the data for me. I could not do that. They're the ones that when the patients came out of the operating room, they had the actual the headsets, and of course there were patients who didn't have the music and patients who did. They didn't know. So it was a blind study, and it turned out beautifully. It turned out beautifully.
Like
Yes,
collaboration, right? A
it was. It
collaborative
was
effort.
a collaborative effort, absolutely.
So
And
tell me, what type
yes,
of music tech? I'm sorry. Go ahead. You go ahead.
yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
What type of music tech? Because I'm so intrigued. So I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. No, no, I'm happy. I'm happy you want to know.
What type of music techniques do you use?
Yeah, so actually I use evidence-based music. Okay.
What does
And
that mean?
well, basically it's been studied. And I work with a music therapist from a university, and we worked together. And they told me, this is the music because that's what I wanted to know. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't even know how the birth of this idea came about. Like my coach often says, it's the universe in alignment. She uses that term because I don't even, when I think about the process, I say to myself, how did you even come up with wanting to use, well, I do have a music background. I did not mention that. Once upon a time I wanted to be a musician. So I played piano for many years, and I played the bass fiddle in the orchestra. So maybe in high school. So maybe that had some, you just
Full
never know.
circle.
All it's full circle, full circle.
Right?
So if for some reason though, working in traditional medicine and clinical and anesthesia, you don't think about music. But in my mind, I thought, you know what, it's got to be a way to help these patients other than just giving narcotics and medication all the time. It's got to be some other way to help them. And it just came to me. It just
Right.
came to me. So I went and I thought, who would better know about the type of music I need than a music therapist?
Right.
And
Right.
that's
Right.
how I got connected to a music therapist, and they gave me music. This is the music that you use. We have studied this music; it's been well studied to help decrease anxiety and depression. And if you think about it, Lendra, a lot of our issues stem from anxiety and depression, overeating, smoking, okay? Just a lot of disease processes come out of anxiety and depression. So those were the two, areas. So I thought, well, hey, if we can get control of that, then we've got something.
You do. You're definitely onto something because
Yeah.
as I even think about my practice, right?
Yes.
As I think about, think about like those night shifts or even those
Yes.
day shifts, right? I can remember, how they have those music channels,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
On the
Yes.
television
Yes.
stations,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, you think about, turning on those music and how
Yes.
like it helps people go to sleep.
Mhm.
Or even I'm even sharing. I remember one time I actually had to, and this was me as a nurse leader, I
Mhm.
had to recognize one of my nurses. So there was a patient the patient was like just, the DNR, right? Do not resuscitate.
Mhm.
And the patient wasn't comfortable. And
Mhm.
she went in, she bathed the patient, she made the patient comfortable, and she just turned on some music. And
Yeah.
we can just remember walking and the patient was just so at ease. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so as you think,
Yeah.
you think about these things as you're talking about what you do, and
Yes.
I'm just saying to myself, like, this is so true. Like, it
Yes.
really is. Music is very relaxing. Or
It
think about
is.
people just put on music just to go to
Yes.
bed, right?
Exactly.
Or when people like drink wine and
Yes.
put on some like soft jazz. So
Yes.
think about how calming it is.
Yes. It
So
is.
just make it that simple, right?
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
really can see how music therapy
Mhm.
can, I can anyway.
Yes. Yes.
Like I can see how music therapy can truly make a difference
Yes.
in someone's well-being because
Yes.
it's calming and it's relaxing.
Exactly. And it gives you an avenue to just be still, because that's where we're not good at. We're not good at being still because we're in an industry that tells us to keep moving faster, faster. You're not moving fast enough. You're not doing it and so and then what happens is we're wrapped up all the time. We don't know how to be still. We don't know how to be still. We don't know how to just be with ourselves and just understand that we need to be focused on calming ourselves. And so how do we do that? We have to teach ourselves. We have to learn that. And sometimes you need a coach to help you with that. And that's what I do. And I work extensively with people, and I shouldn't say patients, with people. And I listen to what they say. And we reevaluate week by week, because I meet with them once a week, how things are going, what we need to change. I go over it and I have a new plan, or whatever we need to do to get results, we do it. Because and this is one of the key factors in my program, Lendra, is that I am expecting results. See, I am not like other programs that let you just give your money and then you just don't do anything and then they still take your money. That's not me. I want to see results, because if I don't see results, then I will be the person to say, this is not for you. This program, ethically, I will say this program is not for you. Because ultimately, this is the latter part of my career. Of course, I want to be successful. I want to make money. But at the same time, what my motivation is and my mission is mostly is to leave a legacy, to serve, to make a difference. So I want to make the difference where I want to see people do well, be well. I want to see results. And that's where the accountability comes in, where with working with me, I am going to see results, or else I'm going to say, I'm sorry, this is not for you. And
Absolutely.
that's the difference.
Absolutely. I love it.
That is who I am. And that's where, see, I'm being true to myself when I say that. I am a results driven person, as you are. And so therefore, I expect that from my clientele as well. Yes.
So, what's something that people should know about you, or what advice do you have for someone who may be interested in this sort of
Yes.
therapy, or may not even be thinking about this sort of therapy? Like,
Yeah.
what's something that you would share with them?
Okay. In terms of a business, you mean, or just,
It's
or
right
just
in
being a
terms
client?
of, music therapy, in terms of reaching out to you, like,
Oh,
why would, like, give them some advice. Like, what is
yeah.
something that you would share with them, and what
Yes.
they should know, like, of
About
what
me.
all music therapy will do?
Oh, yeah. Well, let me just say this about music. Okay. First of all, from a scientific standpoint, it has been proven to release all those beautiful hormones that relieve stress, like oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine. So it has been scientifically proven that it works. It does work. I have in my program not only the music, I also have the journaling, and if I do whatever it takes, whatever my client needs. It's on an individual basis. So when I hear what the needs are, then I will tailor a program to suit that. But throughout the entire process, music will be instituted for every single person. Yes.
Anything that you want to share as we close out? Anything you want to
Yes.
share with the listeners?
Yes. I definitely would. I wrote a little something up, and I'm going to read off this paper because I had to put some thought in this. And this is me being my authentic self that I would like to leave with you all. Three pearls. Number one, know what you want the universe to learn from you. In other words, how can you be of service? What will be your legacy? Number two, to tie in the name of my business, the Blue Bridge Agenda, blue representing peace and tranquility, is my hope for you. Peace and tranquility. When obstacles come your way, don't be discouraged or afraid. Besides, they serve a purpose too, to make us stronger. Number three, now close your eyes and visualize yourself crossing over those obstacles on a blue bridge to the other side where your dreams come true. Do this with intention, with an agenda. And I have one more thing to say. Know your value. You were made to be a creative individual, not to be copied, cloned, or edited. God, the Creator, made you for a very special reason to serve. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much
much.
for coming on today. That's just
I so
amazing.
appreciate this.
Tell me, how can people contact you if they were
Yeah.
interested in reaching you? How can they contact you?
Yes. So thank you. I want to thank you, Dr. Lindra, for having me here today. I'm so excited for this opportunity to share with your listening audience. And I am just this is my expectation from your audience. I'm expecting great things from you guys. Because you're listening to Dr. Lindra. So that's the first step right there. Okay. So just take it further. Take it further, dear hearts. Take it further. How I can be reached, Dr. Pamela, Dr. Pamela, Dr. Pamela at thebluebridgeagenda.com.
Absolutely. And I'll make sure that that's all in the show
Okay.
notes as well.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
on
very much
today.
for
This has
having me.
been absolutely amazing. I love it. Like I said, I'm just intrigued by the idea. I find it very relatable. I know you listeners who are listening in, I know you're having like some thoughts right now. So listen, guys, until next time, stay inspired, stay educated, and stay empowered. All right.
Thank you.